Times have changed. I'm not sure what all has happened along the way, but it's very different now than what it used to be. I remember when I was a kid, we played outside all the time, meeting up with the neighborhood kids and taking our quarters that we had earned, and riding our bikes to the store for those 1-cent English mints or blackball jawbreaker candies. They would last me a couple of weeks because I savored them, each one being a treat. Going to the corner store was an outing, not an everyday occurrence. I didn't need or expect a $10 or $20 a week allowance. We didn't hang out at the mall. We did our chores, mostly for free, because it was our responsibility as being part of a family. It was okay. We did get a little something. We learned to appreciate reward so that we were prepared for our jobs later. I took care of my toys that my parents bought me because we didn't have so many that we couldn't organize our playtime or put them away orderly all by ourselves after. We were told what time to be home. I grew up in the country, and we could tell by the sun going down that we had better head back. For our friends that lived in town, they knew that if those streetlights came on and they weren't walking in the door, then there was trouble to be had. We didn't have any cell phones back then. Not sure if that was the safer way, but we still had fun, and it taught us independence and how to be responsible and accountable for ourselves. We were always exploring without constant interruption from a text or phone call. In my time of childhood, we had a lot of imagination. A different kind of imagination that exists today. We played with Barbies that wore clothes that our moms made them. We built tree forts and rafts and snow caves. We could be pirates and monsters and explore all day long. And we didn't have to Google it first. We created our own play, and we were pretty happy doing it. We learned respect. We respected our parents, even if we felt they were making the wrong decision, even if we didn't like what they were serving for dinner. We didn't tell them how to run the household, and we didn't dare speak back in a disrespectful manner to them. It was disgraceful to do so. They told us what the rules were, and we followed them. We were also taught to respect our grandparents. Today, I see grandparents sitting off by themselves, being ignored as if they have nothing interesting to say. Yet, they have a lifetime of experiences that are so fascinating and full of wisdom. When our grandparents came to visit, we listened quietly to their stories. I remember listening to my grandfather's stories about his sailing days. We weren't sure if all the stories were necessarily true, but the tattoos on his arms gave the telltale signs that he was off to many adventures in his life. It was fun listening to him, and I thought he was very brave. We never thought of telling our parents or grandparents to hit the road, and that would be a nice way of saying it today. We freely accepted our ancestors, being told that it takes generations to make the families of today, for without them, we wouldn't exist. We learned to understand and appreciate the work, the struggle, the love that it took them to get through the tough times and bring us where we are today. It seems that kids today have a sense of entitlement. They want Wendy's or McDonald's. And they think spending $10 per person on food that offers no nutrition makes more sense to them than taking the time to cook and enjoy a meal at home made with fresh foods. Timmy's are being built everywhere near the high schools. because making a good lunch at home and bringing it to school suddenly isn't cool anymore. Preschoolers know the menu there. They think it's deserving to ask for $200 computer games for their birthday and push aside the handmade gifts made with love by a family member. Their disappointment is obvious. We were healthy. Food was cleaner. Our mouths were cleaner. Today's world of technology is a bittersweet thing. Wonderful how our minds have developed. It amazes me how a 3-year-old can pick up a phone or iPad and play a game that totally confuses me. Mind you, when I pull out a game that I used to play, it confuses them too. In my time, a good app was always a yummy plate of food to enjoy before a meal or at a party. Today, a good app is something you download. Family gatherings are no longer about catching up on each other's lives or visiting with your grandparents who will soon be gone. It's about everyone bringing out their phones. It's about the new app. If I don't know the app or the game, I'm left out of the conversation. And they won't even notice. Does anyone eat at the dinner table anymore? When did the parents and grandparents become a group of stupidity and only the younger generation knows what's best for this world? When did our knowledge, strength, and values of 20 to 80 years of adult life experience become obsolete? I know that we still believe in them. We get told that we're crazy if we try to continue to instill our values. We get told to butt out of the very family unit that we created. They aren't interested in what it took for us to survive. After all, we didn't create Google or a cool app. We didn't make $1 million or more, so we're thought of as not being successful in life. They define themselves by today only, and not the lineage that got them here. Technology is enhancing many things and destroying so much. It is bittersweet. It has separated my generation and the next, and it makes it almost impossible for us to reach our descendants. Abuse has become that of being shunned and devalued, and it is happening to the older generations by the young. Yes, the family unit is being destroyed. Each one thinks the other is wrong. So how do we bring the two together if it's not by spending time together having conversation? In fact, me sharing this message will be heard quicker and by more if I put it on YouTube rather than if I ask for the few minutes of time that it takes for me to say it. Oh yes, technology will help me give my message about how technology is destroying relationships. See what I mean about the bittersweet? Technology has separated my parents' generation and mine from the next. What do we have to talk about when they don't care to listen? I want to share my knowledge of survival, my lessons learned through the good times and the not so good times. I want to teach them to appreciate the simplicities of nature and the energy and the peace it holds for us. How our stresses can be thrown to the wind and carried away. They look at me like I'm crazy. What does that have to do with life? They ask. They don't understand that it is life. I see the brilliance of the brain being developed, but the soul is lost because the soul can't be downloaded to the phone. The soul exists outside of technology. It must reach dimensions that the phone cannot in order to thrive. Life has different meaning to me than it does for so many coming after me. And there is a loss. Sadness will set in because we are only human after all and not a machine. What the younger generation doesn't realize is that when the older generation is gone, there won't be an app to replace them. Bittersweet. Maybe one day when society no longer knows how to communicate effectively, when it no longer knows how to care without putting it in an app or a text or a tweet or on Facebook, when all of that is lost and a strange feeling sets in, maybe they will remember that the older generation referred to it as heartache. And then they will remember what we tried to share with them about how we survived it. The realization will set in that our experiences and lessons learned were worthy to be heard throughout all of time. Steve Jobs, you did a wonderful thing creating iPads and iPhones. But did you ever think that it would draw the line where grandparents and parents could no longer connect with their children and grandchildren? I don't think that was the intention. But it is fast becoming a reality. Times most certainly have changed.